First cultural differences, right? We're gonna talk about is bidets again.
Fucking B-days, man.
Right?
Okay, listen.
I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with putting water up your ass?
Here are the two fucking options, right? Either one, you got a clean fucking ass that's watered, right? Like, you've got a clean asshole, or two, you got fucking dried up shit around your asshole. Like, I'm sorry.
The main difference that I felt when I first came to Australia is how nice people were. I went to cafes, I went to like grocery stores, and then they're like, oh, thanks, have a good day.
Yeah.
Just hearing that at first, I was like, what the fuck?
What the fuck?
Why are you telling me to have a good day? Like, should have. Okay, like.
They'll be talking shit about how you need to go back to your country. I just think it's funny that I said, you go back to your fucking country, dickhead.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck you mean?
Yeah.
You're not from fucking here. What? You were brought up here, right?
Yeah.
Surrounded by people that look like you.
Yeah.
Does that mean that this is your place? No, it's not.
No.
Like, this is where my home is. I call this place my home. I like to acknowledge the fact that this is the land of their ancestors. This is where they lived for thousands of years. So, yeah.
What is up, guys? My name is Hammy, and welcome to the Hey Hammy podcast. Today, I have my good friend. He is Red Riding Hood.
Let's go!
What the fuck, man? Of all days for you to choose this jacket. Like, I'm proud of you for wearing something else today, but
Today I thought, you know what? I'm with my boy Hammy, so I might, he's said on many occasions that the all black look does not suit me. That is what he has
I didn't
said.
say it didn't suit you, right? I'm just saying
he has said that. He said that I don't look good.
I'm just saying you use all black a lot
So I
of the
thought
time.
maybe I'd go for sexy red today.
All right, whatever it is. All right, for today's episode, all right. So as I said, I actually said this in a previous episode that you're gonna be like the right-hand man.
Oh, really?
Right-hand man.
Yeah?
All right.
Oh,
Like-
yeah?
Like, could I
I
consider?
can use my right hand, if you know what I mean. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so for today's episode, we'll be talking about the cultural differences of Australians and international students. Share a little bit of background of yourself, all right? Because we don't know who you are.
Oh, that is true. They don't know who I am.
Yeah, we're gonna be talking about international students and local Australians, like the cultural differences that we face. And the only thing I can say about Uday is he's local, right? You're basically local over here. That's why we're gonna talk.
Basically local.
Yeah, you're basically local.
You hear my voice? I'm a fucking Aussie cunt. Hell yeah.
Okay, Indian boy. Okay. What? Indian people come from Australia? Are you talking about? Are you Aboriginal? Hey yo. All right.
Okay. Listen. So hello. Let me formally introduce myself because I don't think I did that. Hello, everyone. My name is Uday. Nice to meet you. I'm a bit of both worlds. I'm international, and I'm local. So.
What does that mean? Where are you from? Tell them where you're from.
Getting there.
You dickhead. Jesus. Yeah, I'll shut up.
No. I was born in India. I come from an Indian family. I came to Australia when I was 3.5 years old. My parents, my dad and my uncle, both thought that raising kids in Australia would be a good fit, Yeah, I guess they just thought it'd be a better place to raise children. I think that was their number one thing that they were like pushing for.
Big family.
Yeah.
As expected from Indians.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. There's
Population game.
The population game, baby.
It's always on point. All right?
Always on point.
Pull-out game. We don't know it. Indians don't know pull-out game, bro.
We don't talk about the pull game.
Yeah, they don't understand what's pull-out. It's always just pull in.
Pull
like
in, bro. Go straight in.
Going straight in. Always going straight to Australia.
Me and
going
Hammy
straight
shared a really good night.
Shut
the
up.
other night. Sorry.
All right. First cultural differences, right? We're gonna talk about is bidets again.
Fucking B-days, man.
Right?
Okay, listen.
You want to share?
Yeah, I'll share.
You're from India, right? Like, so wait, in India, do you guys use bidets? In India?
No, not B-days.
but-
It's like I think now
culturally correct. Maybe not bidets. Culturally, how do we clean our ass?
we wash it.
How?
Back in the old days, it was like a jug, and it was like it was like a jug of water that you pour down.
You pour it down to your hand and then you wash it, right?
No.
Then how?
You take it behind your back and you let the water runs down and you wash it, right?
Okay.
And then you keep cleaning it.
Okay.
Right, yeah, and then afterwards you go wash your hands.
Yeah. So washing your hands is just a part of. Look. Okay, look. In Malay culture, we back in Singapore, I think Malaysians do as well. Like when we were growing up, right? Our moms aren't scared to like put their hands on like our ass, obviously, right? Like
Obviously.
even if you're a baby, like they do the same thing.
Yeah,
So what's the
exactly.
difference?
Yeah,
right?
right.
So how we wash our ass is like, if we didn't have the spray, then we will have like a jug, as you said, and then we'll pour it to our hands and then we wash it. And then once it's clean, we'll wash our hands, obviously. You don't just after that use your hands, right? And it's also a cultural thing where we use it only on our left hand because our right hand is meant for eating.
That's also a thing. No. Sorry,
Yeah.
I should have.
Yeah.
I should have said
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
also.
So there's a difference, all right? And when you go out to shake hands with people and stuff, you don't use your left hand to shake your hand. You use your right hand.
Yes.
So there's a level of respect and you still wash your hands.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
Whatever it is, you still wash your hands.
Yeah.
I don't know why in the Western culture you find it absolutely insane. I have a few friends that I know of, right? I'm not going to say their names on camera, but they just say like, I'm not going to put water up my ass. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with putting water up your ass?
It's just
Like we can have a conversation about anal sex, but we can't have a conversation about watering your ass.
like, okay, listen. Here are the two fucking options, right? Either one, you got a clean fucking ass that's watered, right? Like you've got a clean asshole, or two, you got fucking dried up shit around your asshole. Like, I'm sorry, the two options there, which seems more disgusting? What the fuck?
Exactly my point. And like people can have I've listened to quite a few podcasts as well, and like people always talk about like how the tissue paper gets stuck, and like you might have like some tissue paper stuck in between. And I'm like, how is that not more disgusting than actually washing your ass
That's
with
so
water?
fucking
Like how?
Hold on. I should tell you the first experience of mine of using tissue paper.
Okay, tell me the story.
Yeah,
Tell me
I'll
the
tell you
story,
the
my
story.
guy.
So, as a child, obviously, that's how I was taught to wash my ass, right? That's how you'd wash your ass after you take a shit. That's just how it was to me. I didn't think we had toilet paper in the house, obviously, which you use to like you dry your ass or whatnot. That's what I thought was the purpose of the tissue paper, right? It was to dry your ass after you had washed it. So I remember when I started primary school for the first time, in the toilets there wasn't a jug of water. How am I supposed to clean my shit?
I'm curious. Sorry to cut you off, but like, did you talk to your parents about it?
I did, yes, I did talk to my parents. And that's when my parents told me, Uday, listen, we come from a different place. We come from a different, culture. These guys don't wash their ass. Okay, they don't wash their ass. They simply clean their ass with the toilet paper.
Okay.
And I had realized it, and because obviously I was growing up around, like Western, like people who Aussies. I was growing up around Aussies.
Yeah.
I was like, I bet I'm different. All good. I'm not gonna. From I in primary school, I probably took a shit at school like 3 times maybe max, and that was if I really needed to fucking go. Otherwise, I just didn't do it, and that was like the case for anywhere out. Like I would just not take a shit because I understood that people don't wash their ass. So if I can't wash my ass, I'm not taking a fucking shit. Right? That's just how it was. But I remember the first time that I actually did just use tissue paper to fucking clean my ass. I used up like 3/4 of the roll. I used up so much of the fucking roll because I was actually panicking. I was like, I cleaned, right? Clean, throw, clean, throw, clean, throw, and then I was like, is there still shit? I can't tell. I couldn't tell, and I wasn't gonna touch my ass without water, right? Because that's also fucking weird.
Yeah.
And so I ended up using well over 75% of that toilet roll because I was just like, there is no way I'm walking out with with any shit on my ass. Yeah. So I was like, that was like the first time I ever used toilet paper. It was just crazy to me.
Looking back, I had a weird story that I probably should share with you guys. It's like, I don't know, you're growing up, you feel like there's a lot of Western culture. So from Singapore, right, I've always used water. Like no matter what, there's always a water bottle or something that I brought along with me. I had to bring a water bottle. And then one day I decided like, you know what, let me just try using just toilet paper just to see how it goes. All right. Like I want to be American, I want to be Western, like let's go. So I decided to just use toilet paper, right? And then like everything just seemed fine at first. Like slowly it got drier and drier. Like slowly you stop seeing the brown stain,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, right, yeah.
But like as you start walking, for some reason your ass starts like getting itchy.
Yes, brother. Oh my fucking god.
And the whole day I was just like scratching my ass, and then my friends were like, "What are you doing, brother?" And I'm looking at and oh yeah, bear in mind, like Chinese people in Singapore as well, usually they don't use water. Like it's a Malay thing. And they were like, "Why are you scratching your ass?" And I'm looking at him like, "Dude, how the fuck do you do this?"
How the fuck do you do this?
And then
bro?
when you go home, I don't know if you guys do this, you touch your ass, you smell it, and you're like, "The smell is still there, brother." So I don't know, for the sake of everyone, I think we should. All right, I think you should use some water. If you want to go to a further extent, I think you should use like soap. I have friends that go to that extent of using soap.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Really?
But in my personal opinion, I think the best compromise that we're gonna find is getting like wet wipes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just get some wet wipes. It's wet. First, that's water, right?
Yeah.
And there's a good smell to it.
Yeah.
And it's easier to just wash everything. And everybody's gonna be healthier, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to have this conversation about anal sex from all you dumbasses, all right, at least wash your ass, all right? I'm not gonna have that conversation. And yeah.
Like it just doesn't. Yeah, I don't know. I just, like, but see, here's the thing. I also understood it from like their perspective because obviously they too have been raised with just using toilet paper, right?
Yeah.
So to them, it's weird to wash your ass.
Yeah.
Right. I get it. I do get it. But I'm more like you say I'm more disgusting, right? But no, no, I'm not. We were raised differently, and objectively, your asshole is stinkier and dirtier than mine. Okay, I got a clean asshole. All right, I'm chilling. I'm vibing.
Yeah, exactly. So I've said this. I think in every episode I'll probably reiterate this. You only know what you know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You only know. You know.
But we work our differences, all right? We work through our
Yeah,
differences,
exactly.
and we improve. We make cultures better. Okay. All right. Aside from shit talking, all right? Literal shit talking. Okay. I think the main difference that I felt when I first came to Australia is how nice people were. And we'll start with like customer service, because I went to cafes, I went to like grocery stores, even like just people like, you know, those people like when we're at a kiosk and then they're like, "Oh, thanks, have a good day."
Yeah.
Just hearing that at first, I was
Yeah.
like, "What the fuck?
What the fuck? You
Why
talking to me?
are you telling me to have a good day? Like, should have okay, like why like I was so pissed. Like, why are you happy? You're working at a grocery store, why are you happy? Right? I went to a cafe, why are you happy? Like it was so weird because coming from Singapore, everybody's stressed. You don't have minimum wage. Everybody's just pissed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that was a very, very weird adjustment that I had to make to actually be nice to people.
Yeah. To be. Yeah.
And it's kind of ironic because coming from a Malay Muslim background, we are taught to be those people. And you have to be those people. And then when you're actually in your culture back in Singapore, you're like, we are nice, but this like customer service or like just being very nice to people at first,
like
we
to
don't.
strangers.
Yeah, to strangers. I think you would understand
Yeah,
that, like, coming from India as well.
Yeah,
I think it's like that in India. But like, yeah, that was very, very weird because now that it's been 2 years, I'm very used to being nice. Like after I get a coffee, I'm like, "Oh, thanks, have a good day." And then in June, so was 3 months ago, right? I went back to Singapore to see my family after a year and a half.
Yeah.
The first night that I was there, it was about I think 10 p.m. right now. I went to a grocery store and there was a kind of a like old lady working at the grocery store.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, thank you so much. Have a good night." The old lady just looked at me like, "The fuck is wrong with this kid?
The fuck?
Good night? Shut the fuck up." Like, I don't need a good night. I'm working at 10 p.m. in a fucking grocery store. Why are you telling me good night? And I was just so confused. Like,
I'm sorry, miss. I was just trying to be kind.
yeah. So I don't know. That's definitely like a. I think we have to close it down.
Probably.
Yeah. In case you guys didn't know, for those who are just listening to the podcast, we are near a park and they're like mowing the grass or something. So yeah, that was weird, bro.
Yeah.
That was weird. Like how nice you guys are, and yeah.
Yeah, I think just like the whole being kind to strangers is just it's a very positive thing that I can't speak for any other Western country, but Australian specifically. Yeah, I think that's That's a big, really. That's a positive thing. We like to be kind to people we don't know. Also, I think I wanted to add a bit of context to the people listening that even though I was raised here and I've grown up here, I like to think I'm very in touch with my culture. With my I've been to India several times, many times. Our family used to go once every 2 years. At the end of the year, we used to go for like 2 months, meet all of our family all over India. I have been watching Bollywood since I was a itty bitty boy.
Hey, yo, let's go.
Yeah.
Tule Chulia.
And I know how to speak Hindi too, so अगर कोई Indians सुन रहे हैं तो मुझे हिंदी आती है. Sorry, that was really weird.
What does that mean?
I said it in a really weird accent, so I apologize. मुझे actually हिंदी आती है. I basically said that I know how to speak Hindi. That's all.
Yeah, okay, but that's very interesting still, right? Like, then culturally, you're more confused than I am because you grew up with Indian parents with Indian culture.
Yeah.
And it's a very, very different culture, right? There's a lot of Indian people here, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot. I think there's a lot of people, Indian people everywhere. Yeah,
bro.
I did like a study for international students, and India is the number one like country that's has the most students in Victoria as well.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I find it very interesting how you grew up because I think a lot of Indian like culturally you guys stick together.
Yeah.
But you're like right in between.
Yeah, I'm very in touch with both worlds. I think that's just like something that I guess I learned or something that I just got used to growing up. Like at home it was full Indian, but whenever we were out I was very much in touch with my more Aussie side, you know, like all my friends especially, right? Cuz all my primary school friends or my high school friends, I just remember growing up I met so many different people from so many different backgrounds. I made friends with so many people that I started to kind of understand early that, okay, we're all very different. Like, at school, everyone is the same. But when we all go home, we have our own, we have our own family, we have our own culture, we have our own things. Like, I had my best friend in primary school. I had a few. Like, one was Jewish. I went to his bar mitzvah when he turned 13 as well. That was a really cool experience. I had
I've heard of bar mitzvah like from Friends TV shows and stuff. Like what actually is it? I don't actually know.
What actually is a bar mitzvah?
Yeah.
I'll speak from the best that I can know, right?
Of course.
But a bar mitzvah and a I forgot. So bar mitzvahs are for boys, and there's also for girls. But it's not called a bar mitzvah for girls. It's called I forgot what it's called. Yeah, I don't know what the word for the girls is. I think it's similar, but I don't know the exact terminology. I don't remember if it's 12 or 13. It's probably one of them, 12 or 13. But when a boy turns 12 or 13 or whatever the age is, it's like they transgress into being a man. That's what. So like it's like
So it's more of like a celebration for.
Yeah, it's a celebration of going from childhood to manhood. Like that's what it is.
Okay.
That's what it means. So it's like it's really big. It's like it's like the biggest like birthday celebration that they have before they turn into like I'd say proper adults or whatnot. Again, I'm not an expert on the subject.
Okay.
But
it just gives me context. Like,
yeah, of course. It's like the celebration was huge. There's like every relative that you know is there. There's drinks, there's a cake. You get a shit ton of money. I know that. Oh my god, my homie Josh, he was half Russian, half Jewish. He got when I went to his bar mitzvah, he got like thousands of dollars as a gift. I remember I was jealous as fuck because I didn't
thousands of dollars,
bro. Literally, and that's another big thing that I should mention about. I'll get back to this, obviously. That I should mention about different growing up here is Aussies in general, and I think a lot of other cultures. They give their kids, parents give their kids their own money that they have to use and whatnot. Like you could get money for doing a chore. Or money that you get from like relatives or like whatever whenever you celebrate something That's your money to keep. That's yours. For me, no, if the fuck wasn't. Hell no. If we had family friends over and they gave me like $50 or some shit, right? As like some people do for kids. Was that money mine?
Yeah.
No. Uday?
Your parents
Uday, how much
kept it,
money
right?
you get, huh? Uday, how much money you get? Oh, mommy, I got time. Mommy, the nice lady gave me $50. $50? Give it to me now. So
I know that.
bro, until I started working, I never had money of my own.
Yeah.
Like, money for chores? Are you serious? What the fuck? Like, if I got told to do something,
Yeah.
it wasn't a chore.
Yeah.
It was a fucking command, cunt. Like, Uday, I need you to go put the bins out. Or, Uday, I need you to vacuum the living room.
But that's the big difference between like Asian mindset and like Western mindset,
yeah,
isn't
bro,
it?
it's not something that I can do. It's something that I have to do.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Like, I remember this one time, my dad told me to go put the bins out onto the street, right? And like, I think this was like a point in my life where I was like really like confused between cultures. Like, not confused per se. I was just really in touch with the other ones.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I thought I'd try. I thought I'd try to get away with it. And I was like, Dad, no. Give me, I was like, give me $5 and then I'll do it, right? Give me some chore money.
Wait. Before we continue, do you know Russell Peters?
Yeah, I know Russell.
Yeah,
Peters,
yeah. This is exactly. Okay, continue.
Yeah. He was, so I was like, no, Dad, I don't want to. And then my dad, he looked at me straight in the fucking eye and he was like, Uday, go put the bins out. And I was like, Dad, I don't want to. Give me my $5 first, Dad. And this man, right, who now in his later years has obviously mellowed out, is far more chill. He's like a homie now rather than like a full dad. Back in the old days, this man was a proper Indian dad, Stood up, got his chappal, right? Chappal is a thong.
Yeah.
Right? Slippers.
Yeah.
Motherfucker took that shit off and yeeted it at my head, bro. He was like, what? What did you say? Are you talking back? Bro, I got a chappal to the fucking temple, bro. I was like, holy shit.
Oh my god.
I ran out. I took the bins out on the fucking street. I cried for like half an hour and I was like, I'm sorry, Dad. I won't do it again.
Oh, my cheeks hurt, bro. You're such a fucking dumbass.
Bro, listen, I thought I'd get away with it, I thought that, we've been living here for some time. Surely my dad, knows to like, but, yeah.
Yeah, but look, there's no right answer to one thing, right? Like, there's benefits to giving your kid money. There's also benefits to really disciplining them.
Yeah.
It just depends on how you want them to grow.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
To be honest, yeah. I grew up exactly the same.
Yeah.
I've never like talked to him like that before because I grew up in Singapore, right? I don't know the culture like that, but definitely there were moments of like when they say like throw out the trash, and I'm like, I don't really want to do it, and they're like, you think you're just gonna live here for free? And I'm like, okay.
It's like, your mom and I work so fucking hard to, bring the food in. You better do what I tell you.
To be honest, I think I don't know when I'm going to be a parent and how I'm going to be, but I think the best thing to do is share a little bit of that struggle that you face as parents to your kid.
Yeah.
So they understand where you're coming
from. Yeah. I do get that.
Yeah. Not fully telling them like I've been struggling like this, but like, son, you have to understand that I am working and coming here isn't easy. So you have to put in your work, then I'll be able to reward you for something.
I was going to say that, it's just like, it's obviously every parent is their own and it's different as to how they're going to raise their kids. But it's how you can pass it along to your child. And obviously as like as a kid myself, like it took me time to realize where my dad was coming from. Like as a child, you just get mad that your parents aren't letting you do what you want to do, right? But you grow up, you do. They always said when you grow up, you're gonna realize. Yeah. And of course, you do realize. That's just the way that life works. But I wanted to say, my sisters, right? They have it like, oh my god, they have it so fucking easy.
Yeah, and
so
we can talk a little bit about that. We can talk a little bit about it if you want to. Yeah.
No, it's just like because obviously my dad, and my mom, they've both mellowed out, right? They've realized that they don't have to be that hard on like their kids. Also because I'm 5 years older than my sister, right? So I obviously like I think they also were I guess expected to me to help like shape them in
Yeah.
a way as well, right? As a big brother.
Mm.
Um so they don't so my sisters in terms of like disciplining, obviously they've had it too. But it's not been as big or as direct, I'd say.
Yeah.
And and my sisters get chore money. They get fucking chore money. And they get any money they get, it's theirs to keep. Right? They get to go out. My sister loves a good old gongcha, right? Fucking dumbass comes home with a fucking caramel milk tea every other day. And I just look at her, right? Because she's she's 14, right? She's 14 now.
Okay.
Yeah. She comes home and she's like, Uday, I got some milk tea. And I'm like, oh, okay. Let's see.
But you don't take it away from her?
No, I can't. I do take my tax though, obviously. The big brother tax is there.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
have to take
Yeah.
a few sips.
Yeah, but I feel that because I grew up with, altogether we have 4 brothers, right? And my oldest one is 5 years apart from me. And obviously he had it tougher than I had. And I think as kids, we just look at it as like, oh, you have it so easy, you're the younger one. But logically and realistically speaking, as a parent, the first one is they're normal, like they're just human beings like us, right? They're trying to figure out like the first one, like how do I like raise this kid? Like what do I know? Like they
I
only
have
know
to
what they
mold
know.
this person.
Yeah,
How the
yeah, you
fuck
have
do I do it? Yeah, I get
yeah,
it.
so like I get it, and you're gonna make a lot of mistakes. I'm gonna make a lot of mistakes when I'm gonna be a parent, right? That first kid is always gonna be the hardest one.
Yeah.
And to be honest, with my youngest, he by the time they reach like the youngest, so the age gap between my youngest and my oldest is 10 years.
Yeah.
So obviously after 10 years, they know how to take care of a kid. So they're a lot kinder, a lot nicer to the kid. But as me as like the third one, I'm looking at him like, you son of a bitch. like he's getting so much love. So we as brothers, we fucked him up. So like it's a weird brother thing, but I think it's good that we realize this. Because I've definitely like I think a few years ago I had like a small talk with my little brother being like I apologize for
Yeah, I'm sorry that I was such a dickhead.
I was such like I was like that to you. But as long as you've realized that, then I think the relationship's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
But I think it's pretty normal, right? This is forever gonna like
Yeah, this
be a
is
thing.
always going to be.
Yeah,
it's
it's
just
always gonna
it's
be a thing.
natural. It's natural.
Yeah.
The youngest will always have
Yeah.
like.
But the only problem is, I guess, when you put it in also Western culture where like you naturally have to move out and like there's separation from family, then I don't agree with that idea of like after you found your own job or whatever, then you just separate,
Yeah.
you know? And like you have like a lot of childhood anger that you hold on to and like yeah, those are the kind of things where I start like not agreeing with some like Western culture.
I think especially if like I know that for like some people, moving out at where the moment they turn 18 is a very important thing for them to do because their parents have one pushed for it, and or two, I know there's a lot of kids in the world that just don't have good relationships with parents, right? Like some parents in the world are just objectively shitty parents. They're not good parents. So for those kids, moving out as soon as they can is the only option they have. But then there's also like the other side of like the Western culture, right? Where when you turn a certain age, you have to move out. You have to go be your own thing. From the side that you said of like holding on to like childhood anger, that's I think it's very situational. It just depends on like you know, like how you lived your life. But yeah, I also don't like agree with it fully. Like I know damn well that for me and my parents, like even though I'm now like legally an adult, and I ain't moving out anytime soon. Bro. I ain't moving to any out. Like for them, they would so much rather that I just I stay living with them for as long as humanly possible.
Yeah.
Right? Like in Western culture, if you're 30 and you're still with your parents, that's sad.
Yeah.
That's like quotation sad, right? That's just like, what are you doing? Get out of the house. What are you like you live with your parents?
Yeah.
For Indians, it's like, oh wow, look at him. He's such a good son. He's still with his parents, you know. Wow, what a good
Yeah,
son.
yeah.
But like my parents also now realize that me and my sisters, as much as I understand the cultural side, I've been raised in an environment where it's different.
Yeah.
You know, so I would like to eventually like move out, not anytime soon, but like there'll come a time where I want to experience what it's like to live away from my parents.
Yeah. I love the cultural differences between like how we see the end goal, and I think it's very important to like accept that.
Yeah.
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 Like we don't have to like force people. I'm not forcing all the Western people or like the Western culture or Australians to do what we do. It's just seeing the differences.
Yeah, the differences
And seeing the pros and cons of each
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's cool to see.
Yeah, it's
like
cool to
it's
see.
cool. It's just it's really cool to see like just how many differences there are. And I think that's a big part of what makes growing up in Australia really cool.
Yeah.
I think if you're an immigrant in Australia, as many kids are, right? They'll have to struggle with keeping one foot in their culture and one foot in the Aussie kind of culture that there is. So there's gonna be struggle there, but eventually, I think, we all get to grow up and we all get to see that. Yeah, you know what? That was something really cool, and that's something that not a lot of kids are gonna go through.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just yeah, it's nice. It's cool.
Right. To transition with like immigrants and shit. Obviously in Australia there's a lot of like different types of people, but let's transition to that. Like coming to Australia, seeing how much
Transition.
yeah.
Sorry.
People put in like swoops and shit,
Yeah,
but you're just like transition.
Transition
To the next
baby,
one.
To the
Yeah.
next fucking thing.
Like transitioning to the next part where like coming to Australia, seeing how many different fucking races there are over here.
Yeah, bro, for real.
It's insane. And like I don't know, I look at it as an amazing like positive because I don't know, for you in India, I guess there are a lot of Indians, but in Singapore it's Malay, Chinese, Indians, and Filipinos are rising.
Yeah.
So those are like the main four that you
Yeah,
really
I
see a
see.
lot.
I think what I find interesting is that you have come from a place that is already diverse,
Yeah.
to a place that might even be more diverse,
Yeah.
right? So how do you like how did you feel about like, because I think you said that in your previous one you said that you came here expecting to see like white Aussies,
Yeah.
just like only white Aussies. So did it feel good to just like see so many different people?
I think where there's literally no downside to meeting new people is what I say.
Yeah.
That's why I tell people. Even if that person is a bad person, at least you know like that person's a bad person. I don't want to be that person.
Yeah, right.
And when you grew up thinking that you're one of the most multiracial country, you realize that it's just multiracial in its majority, but not necessarily the most multiracial.
Okay.
Because coming here, like I said, like I meet Chinese people from China. I meet
Yeah.
Indian people from India. I meet French people, Russian people, Lebanese, like a lot Jewish people, and like coming from Singapore, the history of like the people that I grew up with who are Chinese are like Singapore Chinese,
Yeah.
Malaysian Chinese.
Yeah.
They're not like Chinese. So I'm not necessarily knowing what the actual background is. Like you're
Right, I get what you mean. I get what you mean.
You're
I get what you
actually
mean.
from India.
Yeah.
Right? But now obviously you're Australian Indian, but you still have parents that's directly from India.
Yeah, direct.
So
yeah,
the
I get what
things
you
that
mean.
I'm learning is just
Oh yeah, like the
insane.
difference in diversity from like within the community, like diversity. I should say diversity that comes from the country, compared to diversity that comes from outside the country. Like so, in Singaporean, it's Singaporean Chinese, Singaporean
Yeah,
Malay,
yeah.
Singaporean Filipino, and all that, right? Here, it's more Indian, Chinese.
Yeah, exactly,
that stuff,
exactly.
right?
So even with my parents, they're like, my dad is from Indonesia, but he basically grew up in Singapore. So I'm growing up with a family that's like Singapore Indonesian.
Yeah.
But my dad's side, where like the granddad side, then they are like Indonesian.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I've already lost track of like my history. So like I'm sort of that that you basically, right?
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
you like over here. Like if people want to talk to you about Indian culture, it's kind of weird because you're Australian already. So if people want to ask me about like Malay people, I'm like, I'm Singapore Malay, so I'm not really Malay. I'm not from Malaysia.
Yeah.
So like, it was definitely a lot of I don't know what exactly I am.
Yeah.
Like in my ID card, I'm Javanese, which is Indonesian.
Yeah.
But I don't speak Indonesian. So I don't know. Like coming here, I feel like it was really, really refreshing to see that amount of racism. Like, look, man, like you're my friend, and like you're from India, and then you are Australian, and then I have like white Australian friends, and then I have like Chinese Australian. I don't know. You really learn a lot more perspective to see like how the world works.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's something that I think Australia is really like good at, but they're also trying to balance like the amount of like foreigners coming in, which is kind of funny because white Australians are technically foreigners.
Yeah, white Australians
Because-
are technically.
All right.
Yeah.
Transitioning to
Let's transition. That is a great segue.
that's a great
an amazing
segue, right?
Nice.
Transitioning to the history of Australia, which I recently found out. Not recently found out, but like when I came to Australia, I found out that Australia's history was Aboriginal people.
Yeah.
That I didn't know the British came over to take over the land, right?
Yes, sir.
And there are still Aboriginal people over here right now.
Yes, there is. There's,
But-
there's-
Yeah, I mean they're mostly living in the inner suburbs and like further down, right?
Yeah.
Not necessarily in
Yeah.
the city. And I don't know, I just found that really interesting how Australia used to be an Aboriginal place, and then British people came in, and then now you're back to like foreign people coming in.
yeah.
It's sort of like getting the taste of what you just did.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
what I mean?
Because like they'll be talking shit about how you need to go back to your country. I just think it's funny that I said you go back to your fucking country, you dickhead.
Yeah,
Fuck you mean?
Yeah.
You're not from fucking here. What? You were brought up here, right?
Yeah.
Surrounded by people that look like you.
Yeah.
Does that mean that this is your place? No, it's not.
Nah, yeah.
There was the I'm not sure how much you know about Aboriginal history and First Nation people history.
I know enough, but just the amount of like tribes and lands,
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
not too sure.
I think me personally, I actually think that the Aboriginal history of Australia is like it's so deep.
Yeah.
I haven't seen an Indigenous community with culture that's so like rooted within the place they come from.
Yeah, but like overall, I guess we want to say like the history of Australia is really interesting, and to see where it's going to right now is sort of like ironic in a sense where like there's a lot of international students coming in, international people, immigrants coming in, and we're back to sort of where we are and like just globalized. It's a very globalized world right now, and like Australia is more than just white people. It's more than just Australian. It's the meaning of Australian is slowly
It's-
becoming Singaporean.
Yeah.
Like what does it actually mean to be Australian?
Yeah.
Do you know
that
what I
is
mean?
True. Yeah.
So yeah, that's what we have to conclude about the history of Australia.
Yeah.
Yes. We don't want to get too political.
I don't want to get too
Yeah.
political. I just want to
Yeah.
end on the note that since we're talking about it, I guess it's always important to acknowledge that if you like, this is what my home is. I call this place my home. This is where I was brought up. This is where I was raised.
Yeah.
The land that I live on, the water that I drink, the air that I breathe, is not. It's not mine per se. Like I want to
Allah,
acknowledge.
bro.
I like to acknowledge the fact that this was once a place where an indigenous community, you know, this is the land of their ancestors. This is where they lived for thousands of years. So, yeah. I think what I was saying before was that in primary school we always used to acknowledge the fact
Yeah,
that
yeah. Until
this
now.
Yeah, even now obviously, but like throughout my entire like growing up childhood, if it was anything to do with like school or like high school, or like you'd see like flyers out on the fucking street or some shit, I don't know, especially like political campaigns, it'd always be like, we acknowledge that this is the land of the Aboriginals and all.
I definitely should have like an interview of like an Aboriginal person, like our generation Aboriginal person.
Yeah,
you know,
see
and like
how-
just
yeah,
have
see
a
it's-
conversation with
yeah.
them. That'd be fun.
I think in that conversation you can probably get really deep into
Yeah, how they feel and
like
what
and the issues that
Yeah.
the indigenous people face today.
and how they're feeling right now. Like,
specifically
specifically
right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Before we end this episode of this podcast, let's finish on a brighter note where we talk about gender neutral toilets, brother.
Big cocks, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
Look, I have no problems with gender neutral toilets. I think
How is this a brighter note?
it is a brighter note.
Is it a
all right?
brighter note?
All right, it's a brighter note. All right, we love going into the toilets with everyone, don't you? Like, I think toilets are an important place in the world that you can't live without a toilet. So look, it's an amazing place to be.
And you
all
better
right?
have fucking water.
Yeah.
You better have fucking jugs of water up in that bitch, bro. I swear to God.
Okay, look, the problem that I have with gender neutral toilets, nothing to do with like people being scared of like, oh, there might be rape, there might be like more men preying onto women or like women preying men. The main problem that I see with a lot of gender neutral toilets is just toilet bowls, right? And then there's the walls and shit.
Yeah.
Why aren't the walls fully covered? There's always like gaps, and like Australians are like big people, right? Like taller people, right? And the walls are so high up. Like, I'm not even kidding. If I'm sitting down in a toilet bowl, right, you can literally see my dick from outside of it. Like, you don't even have to bend down. Maybe you just have to like squat a little bit and you can see my dick from there. Like, then what's like, do you know what I mean? Then what's the point of having a gender neutral toilet? Like, just what's so hard about just making a full wall?
Full fucking wall.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a full proper wall, or like just open some air to like the feet. Just show the feet. But the door is so high up that it's like showing my knees at that point. Like, why?
Okay, listen. I think
Why?
I think this is very dependent on the establishment that you go to.
Okay, this
right? Where was this? Tell me where it was.
RMIT. This was in RMIT in CBD. I think most of the RMIT buildings have gender neutral toilets, and
Yeah.
for the most part, it's like that.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so odd. Okay.
Yeah, because I have no problem with like going into the toilet with like a woman or like a guy or whoever it is, right?
Yeah.
Because we're just going in the toilet, we're washing our hands or whatever, and then obviously if there's walls,
Yeah.
nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's so many gaps between that wall. It just feels like, and it's not even the gap. It's like it's how high up it is. Like I just feel a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And like, let's say from the women's point of view, like the girl's point of view, who would be scared of like guys who are perverts or whatever it is, right?
Right.
Like, just make a full wall, like for the sake of everyone.
Yeah.
What benefit does it have? Like, if it's for air, that doesn't make any sense. You have your air exhaust filter, whatever. Like,
Right.
having those gaps make no sense in my opinion.
I think you should take this problem to the RMIT committee. You know, make them fucking let them hear your voice,
Right,
Because
right.
apparently this is an issue that I wasn't aware of. Fucking knee-high fucking fucking doors at the toilets. What the fuck? I wanted to.
Our toilet in our workplace
Yeah.
is fully covered.
Yeah, it's fully covered.
I'm not asking for like a brick wall.
Oh, like a room or something.
Yeah.
Just like something that I get you. I get
Yeah.
you. Something that just yeah.
Yeah, what's the
Like
point?
the privacy is
Yeah.
like established. It's there. Yeah, I
Look,
get
you know what? Let's not even talk about gender neutral toilets. Just normal toilets. What's the point of having gaps?
What's the point of having gaps?
Right.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, maybe it was easier to build. Maybe it's just like I don't fucking know.
Yeah, like I said, I think it's more troublesome. No, more problematic that a gender neutral toilet is like that.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do see. Yeah, I do see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I wanted to. I guess I wanted to say. I'll share the story of my first time in a gender neutral toilet.
Okay, go
right?
ahead, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So this was at a club. This was at a club on Burke Street in the city somewhere. I forgot the name of the club, and this was like maybe like a year ago, I think. I remember they had a gender neutral toilet, right? And I really needed to take a piss, and I didn't see any other toilets, and I was like, all right, this says it's gender neutral. Fuck it, let's go in. Right? You know, I didn't really have much experience with like a gender neutral environment where somewhere like a place where that's more like accepted, so as to say. And I mean, obviously, I have no qualms with that. I was just like, I bet, you know what, I need to take a piss. I gotta fucking take a piss, right? So I walk in, and this is more so like club based. It's not like, I'm sure no other toilets are like the ones in the clubs because people hang out in the fucking toilets at clubs, right?
Yeah.
So I walk in, and there's like a group. There's like one dude and three girls just having a conversation next to the sinks, right? And because this is a club toilet, it's not a very big toilet. So it's got one stall in it, right? One toilet, just one normal stall door, and then a urinal wall. And so the urinal wall is right next to the sinks, and then the toilet is just at the back. This isn't a very big room, right? So it's all kind of next to each other.
Yeah, it's crumbs.
And so I remember because I was drunk as fuck, I'm looking at this from like a third person perspective,
Okay.
right? I'm there in the urinal, just pissing onto the wall, right? And not a meter away from me, there's just 3 girls having a conversation. And I'm just like, I'm just looking at them, right? I'm like, what's going on? I'm so confused. But yeah, it was just funny because I remember I had to like say, "Excuse me, can I get the urinal to them as well?" And they were like, "Oh yes, so sorry, please go through." It was just such a. It wasn't a weird experience, so as to say. It was just very different. Yeah. It was very unique.
But that's the thing as well. Like you went to a gender neutral toilet where they had like the pee like on the wall thing.
Yeah.
So that's weird in itself.
Yeah, right.
You know?
I would like. Because like if it's a gender neutral toilet, surely the girls can use that as well, then, right?
Yeah.
Because it's
It's
accessible.
not like the girls are like with like their vaginas and just gonna pee on the wall. Like, how does that work?
Yeah, I listen.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah,
It is
but
what
like,
it is.
yeah. Problem is walls. Build that wall up, all right. I'm
build-
not asking you to build.
build the
I'm not asking you to
fucking
build like a
walls.
fucking Mexican wall, all right. Just put a wall so that I can have some privacy, all right, for everyone's sake, okay.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So let's wrap this up. That's the end of today's podcast. I hope you guys like this one. Whoever's listening, hope you guys enjoyed this. podcast.
Yeah. I don't know what else to say.
All right. Peace out.